hope you all had lunch and some coffee and some rest. We can continue with our presentations, and we have our next speaker, Miloš Jeřábek, right here with us. He will be talking about co-development from the other side. Miloš is the executive producer of Redhill Games, and he's ready to start. So yeah, please welcome him.
Okay, does it work now? Okay, seems like yes. That's really low. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Great to actually see quite many of people. I expected less for boring production stuff. So let's hope at the end no one sleeps. That's my goal for the presentation. Start small. So first, what I would like to say is this is definitely not very crafted presentation with a lot of theoretical examples and stuff. Not at all. Everything I will be saying, everything I'll be mentioning are real life examples. They happened directly to me on different projects, on different companies, but they all happened. Even though they might sound unbelievable or they might sound like this is straight out of the book, yeah, actually sometimes straight out of the book can happen. So trust me, this is definitely the life. I'm in the industry for about 17 years, and I always hear how difficult it is to be outsourcing studio, how difficult it is to help others as a co-development partner, how hard it is to actually help the other teams. Well, the one thing I probably never heard is how hard it is to be the studio that takes the project, the baby that they are working on, and give it to someone else. Give all the responsibilities, all the love, all the passion that they have for the product, and give it to other companies, other people, to work on it, to collaborate on it, to work together on it. It's huge. It really puts a lot of toll on all of those who are doing this. And many times they get forgotten. And that's exactly what I would like to talk today. So those examples are from the perspective of us as developers, giving it to the outsourcing companies or others. But why am I talking about this, or why? Well, as I mentioned, I'm in the industry for quite a while, and I was usually working on bigger AAA projects, big companies, many hundreds of developers. I think my biggest company or the team was 500 directly and 300 indirectly through outsourcing and co-development. Huge teams spread across the globe. We tried outsourcing, insourcing, the distributed development, co-development, even co-production sometimes. We tried all of those methods. I saw them working. I saw them not working that well, trust me. And right now, our team is in fact shifting even to the co-development side. So I am slowly opening the doors to actually see it from the other side that usually is talked about. And it's really exciting. Like finally, I can see yeah, if I will be there, this will be the problem. And that's exactly what I would like to share with you today. I would like to share with you the experience of the teams that were giving their babies, their games, their beloved products to others, and that were asking for help, that were asking for collaboration, and that are giving all the trust to you to work on the games. And yes, the one thing that HR told me to explain is the wine, because it is usually not the business thingy, right? Number one, I don't really like business pictures because they all look like... I'm really not that guy. I love wine. Wine is my passion, and it's sort of who I am. Usually you see me this way or on calls with goggles and trying to understand what the programmers are talking about. So, when I started thinking about a talk, the first thing that appeared in my mind was, well, there's actually lots of similarities between a relationship between two people and a co-development. It has stages. It really goes through the stages that every single relationship will always go through. At the beginning, the B2B people, the business people, they talk, how awesome it's going to be when we are together. They will go to the restaurants, they are dating, they are mating, classical things. How many times it happened, Okay, in our case, it's LinkedIn and it's not Tinder. Fine. But otherwise, it's very similar. It's the same thing. Everyone goes with it with lots of hopes, with a wish to make it work, with lots of excitements, and sometimes completely forgetting all the mistakes they have done before. Because this time, it's the one. This time it's going to work. Then there is the honeymoon. The first days of collaboration after the contract is signed, the developers are jumping on the game. There is the exchange of the knowledge. There's lots of first times, first submits, first bugs, first Jiras. Amazing time. Everyone is super excited because finally, we are there. Everything is going well, and then the first deliveries will happen. Sometimes good, sometimes maybe a little bit less good. And that's the moment when the first issues will start appearing. The first small problems. It might be frictions, it might be small issues. That's exactly the time when you moved into the same house, you are super happy, everything goes well, and then suddenly, not everything works the same way. I don't really want to watch the soap opera. I might actually want to watch some Marvel universe. It's the same thing in the development. Suddenly those small things will start appearing, and then it's on the team to start recognizing them and doing something with them. Because you will get to the realization of, this is not a perfect one. There's never going to be a perfect one. There are going to be issues. We are different. We have different pipelines with different people. We have maybe different cultures. There's a lot of differences between us. And then it's on us to make it work. Well, there are two ways, right? Either you will say, you know what, I will stop trying to change you because, well, I will not, and we will go through this together. We will, have a happy relationship with your issues, with my issues, but it's fine. Or you decided, no, sorry, this doesn't work, and you go through the breakup. The same thing in the partnership of the two companies. Sometimes it works. Sometimes the companies really want to make it work. Sometimes, they will get it to somewhere and decide, good, thank you, awesome time together, but maybe not. And sometimes it blows up in such a horrible ways when you don't even get to this one. Can happen. Saw it happening actually a few weeks or a few months right after the signature of the deals. Can happen. At the end, it's on us, developers, producers, managers, to make this work together. And that's what I'd like to actually do right now. I would like to go through, I sort of call them the 4 steps to happy collaboration. They're very simple, and they all will have examples that happened to one of the companies that I worked with versus another company that we were working with. I'm not going to mention the names on purpose. It wouldn't be fair. Otherwise, I would have to have actually the company here, and we would have to have a little bit of a pairing. So I would be purely talking from perspective of me and the team that I was in that moment working with. Number 1, trust. I cannot stress this one more, and I would say if from all of those, and I will say it again at the end, I will repeat myself because I really want to make sure that everyone remembers this one. If you remember this slide, it's probably the most important slide from the whole freaking presentation. Trust is the one thing, one resource you have. And it's everything you have. If you break trust, it's super difficult to get it back. There are cultures that are maybe a little bit better at it, and there are cultures that really suck at it, and rebuilding the trust with them is nearly impossible. It's on you to make sure that the trust is there. We had a company, big Western collaborator, really big, very promising, amazing names, 15, 20, 25 years of experience, amazing titles. And we managed to get the collaboration. We managed to actually sign a deal to work together so they will help us to build something together. It was amazing. Frankly speaking, I didn't even believe that my team got the chance to get them to help us. It was almost, in some ways, I was even thinking, isn't it actually that they are almost teaching us? It was an amazing teaching experience. At the beginning, we explained what we want to do. They were like, of course, come on, slam dunk, done this, 1,000 times, super easy. What will go wrong? And suddenly it started to go wrong. It started to go actually very wrong. The collaboration didn't go well at all. We had meetings, tried to communicate about that one. The answer was yeah, no worries, everything is fine. The very classical Western approach, or I would almost say American approach, the culture really clashed because our team and our culture was very different to theirs. And when we were saying this is not working, they were there are no problems, everything is gonna be fine. And that started to really clash. It created even more doubt because there was don't they freaking see that? This is not working at all. This is very bad. And suddenly the trust started to have holes. At the beginning, more on the management side, suddenly even on the developer side. And it really broke apart. Have to say, we did manage to fix it. I will actually change here, not we. 2 of our developers managed to fix it by sitting down together, talking very straight to each other's face. No management. I actually took away every single producer. They took every single producer away. And we kept the developers to talk directly without our input at all. And we asked them, make this work. They bonded. They got drunk a few times under the table. They bonded back, and they created a great collaborative team. They really make it work on the trust level. They trusted each other. They knew what they are doing, and they were very honest to each other. Suddenly, the feature was delivered with no issues. It worked. Did it continue afterwards? No. We decided that as on the big picture, it didn't work. And we were really worried that this will be actually repeating. And frankly speaking, we were super lucky that those 2 individuals were in the team. If they wouldn't be there, the feature would never see the live, the players would never actually get their hands on it. Thanks to them, we did. Out of that, for me, there will be 4 main learning points. Number 1, communication and culture are very important. On the culture one, frankly speaking, I probably could have a presentation just on that. In fact, when we were now joining the collaboration, one of the first things was that we actually did culture mapping, and we actually did lots of culture presentations. And thank you here for Katja, who was actually on our side representing us and trying to actually help us with understanding the culture of the developer, because it's very it's very important. They speak a little bit differently. They actually feel things a little bit differently. The culture you always need to take into account, because when you communicate, I don't know even how many different yes is in Japanese. You don't even know the differences, and you need to feel them, because if you don't, they might actually be saying something completely different than you think. Be honest. Be honest and really be very, see through on what you are doing. If you see a problem, call out the problem. Don't try to hide them. My mom was always saying, if you lie to me, I will always find out. Maybe not right away, but I will. Guess what? I lied to her, she always found it out. It always bit me to the ass. You will not ever avoid it. And the same thing in collaboration. It will at some point blow up. It's better to honestly point it out. And with that, you will manage the expectations much better. Because if the partner would have actually not told us that everything is fine, if they would have told us their issues straight away, we would be much calmer, and the developers would be actually calmer as well. But as they were saying, no, everything is fine. It wasn't. It wasn't at the end. And obviously, hard work on deliveries and making sure that if you promise something, if you actually said, I will do this, especially at the beginning of the relationship, of the beginning of the collaboration, do that. Do that. Even if you would have to actually break a little bit, it's better to do it. Because if you don't, it's going to be exactly the first thing, maybe it wasn't as easy, maybe they are not as good. You don't want to be on that side. So, that will be on the trust. Number 2, respect the team. For me, when I came to the teams, and I would say, hey, we want to actually outsource this, the first reaction is like, no one will be able to do it like we do. And they're right. They love what they do. They are working on it hard for years and years and years. And now suddenly you are telling me that we can just give it to some other company and they will do it as good. Well, of course they don't feel that way. And sometimes it's not even true. But there are realities. We all know that. It's very, very hard for those who own something to lose the ownership and to give up the trust to the others, that you can do it as good as the others. We had one team that, when I was on the previous side saying there was was probably the top number 1 team that I was excited. This team wasn't really something that I would believe that will work. They were all right. They were not bad or something, but they were just all right. And when we saw the portfolio, we were like, we can try it out. It was even forced by management, actually, which is always the worst one, right? They jumped on the product, and we were like, yeah, it's okay, well, you can give it a try. They immediately sent their management and their team to talk with our team, not with the management, with the team. Every single thing they were doing, they were always talking with the team. They were asking, how would you do that? What would you do? They learned the pipelines, even though some of them didn't even make much sense, but they still learned them and tried to apply them because they knew that this is the way how to do it. When they started delivering first things, they would be all the time talking with the counterparts and making sure that everything is working. And guess what? They delivered not only on time and on budget, But they actually managed to get my team in a time when I was thinking like maybe we will end of co-development. They were like, yeah. But you don't meet them, right? Like they're actually our team. Like you are definitely not canceling them. They are amazing. The team that at the beginning didn't even want to work with them. They were fighting for keeping them on the project. They felt them like part of them because they really respected them. They really developed it with them. They were giving it everything. And it was very important. This team at the end did the best part of that game for about last 5 to 7 years. It was a live product. It was amazing. Like really big thing that we didn't believe it was actually possible. They did it. They did it very well. And the team, in my opinion, is a kick-ass. They really did a great job. So how to get that? Well, number one, show your respect. I'm not saying being, kissing someone's ass or something like that. Sorry for the wording. No, I'm not saying that at all. Please don't. It will really quickly show. But you can show the respect that you know what they were doing. You will learn about them. You will actually, positively communicate about what they actually done before. Maybe you will actually talk with some of their previous partners or previous coworkers. Try to connect and try to create some communication with them. Respect their expertise. Respect what they were doing. Sometimes you will take a look on the things and you will say, Jesus Christ, this doesn't make any freaking sense. Why are you doing this way? Well, you might not understand the pipeline. You might actually miss something. Or maybe it really doesn't make sense, but they are just doing it that way because they've been doing it this way for 7 years. And they don't even maybe actually know that there is a new way. It doesn't mean that don't tell them, but listen to their tips, listen to what they are doing, listen to their works, and then, when the time is right, suggest the new things, especially if they will ask, don't be afraid of suggesting. Don't push it. Don't try to overrule them. Don't try to push too much and too hard your own ideas. But propose your ways, listen to the tips, and show that you really care, because the care is super important. And especially the care about the product. I'm always saying that a game for a developer is like it's like our baby. It's something that we are really bringing with us. We are caring. We are trying to make it as beautiful as possible. We really want to put everything from us in it. Would you actually ever come to someone's crib and say, "Yeah, Jesus Christ, that's so ugly, baby"? You would probably not, right? It's not the greatest line to tell to new parents. You don't do that about the games that you get to work on either. Please don't. And it might be even true. It might be that yeah, this is probably not the best action adventure that I've ever played in my life. Of course it's not. There was probably much better before and there was much better after. That's fine. But respect the title. Play it, enjoy it. Try to find ways how to actually, get through it and to communicate with the teams. We had a team that, and the first one was semi-positive. The second one was very positive. So it's gonna be very negative, but I had to actually share it. We had a team that jumped on a game with "we know it all." They were actually pretty good, especially on the paper, but they really went with we can make your game so much better. We got it. We are fine. They actually got, even from management, a completely different target audience that the game was made for. And no one actually told it even to the freaking team. So from the day one, there was complete dissonance. And they always behave the same way. We will just make your game way better. You don't know what you are doing. It's fine, it's all right. Well, guess what? They were probably one of the most hated team that they have ever worked with. They were just alienated. And unfortunately, it actually went vice versa. They were doing it not, just because they would like to, shit on us or something. Not at all, but they really felt that way. They got empowered, and they got actually very bad messaging at the beginning, where they were told, you have complete power, this is basically your own product, you don't have to really take care of what they are doing. It's not true. That's not true even if you would really get to that position, like if you'll be doing, for example, sequel, or if you are doing port. You should always respect the origins, right? You should always respect what the first team did. And you should always respect their makings. It doesn't mean that you will not change it, but respect it. So this ended up by about 4 years of development, many much money. They were completely wasted because nothing came ever out of it. And guess what? Both teams were super down because one team really wanted to do something and they didn't actually get players to see it, and the other team just said, we told you so. They were useless. Both teams, unfortunately, ended up very negative. So don't be that. So when you jumped on a game, and like we've done actually now the same thing when we jumped on a development. Number one, I said to all of my team members, play the game. Play in your free time, play it with your friends, play it in the working hours. Basically, 8 hours a day during the work, I want you to play the game. I want you to know the game inside out, everything that is there. So when you are talking with the developers, you show the passion, you show that you understand, you show what you know. You really show that you know the game, and you can discuss about it. And then there is time to even provide some feedback, say maybe something negative, say, hey, I would maybe improve this or I would improve that, but show it through your passion. Provide the feedback through the lens of, I like the game and I would like to make it together better. Don't shit on it ever, even if they would be asking for it. It's really not a good idea, because even if they ask for it, the fact they wanted to know is, do you really like it? Do you love what we are doing? Because they are doing it. They spend their life, their years and years of development in that. Countless hours. They don't want you to actually say, yeah, it's actually terrible, yeah, we're right. No. That's the beginning of the end of the collaboration. And the last one, keep the high standard of the work. Well, I think this one is easier to say than do sometimes. But there are ways how you really can do this without, hitting the ground. Number one, every single collaboration starts by two BD people talking, business development. Business development people, right? We were talking about a dating thingy. They are dating. They are selling your services. They are selling how amazing everything is going to be. There are going to be no problems. We have the best people in the industry. Sure, might be true, but there's every time there's going to be a problem. Then when you are stepping in, the first thing I would always do is underpromise. Say, okay, I hear you, but there are going to be problems. Let's start with something small. Let's start, on the safer side. We had a team that complete underdogs, forced by other company that we had to actually do because they were our publisher in that moment. When we saw their portfolios, when we saw their games, we were like, they are really not up to the standard. We were doing very high AAA stuff. They never done anything like that. Their employees, they were good people, but they, we were what, 8 months away from shipping. You know how it is, right? We really didn't have time to onboard people. Like, it was the last thing that our developers actually wanted to. The team came with, hey, we just want to do cool stuff. Give us something small, give us small things to do, and we will actually start cracking. They actually moved away. They moved even to our studio, and they wanted to work directly with us. And they started with complete, PCs that was sort of the work that no one wanted to do. Suddenly, my teammates were coming to me, hey, can we actually give them something cool? Because look what they were able to do. They really deserve good. They built the trust. They really built the we can do this through the small things, almost like you would start as a junior, regular, senior. They ended up doing huge PCs, and they didn't even want to leave. And our team members were even asking, can we keep those? Can we hire them as our employees? And no. There is actually, there is a deal with the other company. We have no pouch. We cannot do that. But there was a lot of excitement. Those people started as complete underdogs, but through the fact that they just kept delivering, they started delivering small things all the way to the big. Instead of starting big and huge, they really managed to deliver it. And they are actually, for me, one of the best experience with outsourcing or insourcing in this case and co-development. It was amazing. I really loved working with them. So, few of the takeaways would definitely be underpromise and overdeliver. Show that you can do stuff. If there are issues, communicate. Really show that there is something in you, and if there are problems, talk about them openly. It doesn't mean that you will say, yeah, we just don't know how to do this. No. Be transparent, be honest, show what you are doing, and show that you understand what you are doing. And over-communicate. I know that I'm sort of repeating myself from the first page with the trust when I said communication, but as I said, the communication, in my opinion, in Codev, is one of the most important things that you will get in your arsenal. Because there are always going to be issues, but it's on you to make sure that you will overcome them together with a team. And I said 4, right? Well, I lied. It wasn't 4. It's actually 5. When I showed the slides to our CTO, Mume, who is actually my long-term partner in life, sorry, I have actually my wife sitting here as well, but I do have to say that I probably spent with him more time than with my wife. So we are together for like 16 years, but if you are sitting with someone in a room like that for 2.5 years and delivering a AAA game, trust me, you know each other. You know each other very well. I showed him the slides, and he's like, yeah, but you completely missed one point. How could you? Well, he was right, I did. Start off strong. Of course, it's obvious, but even I forgot it when I was building the presentation. It's super easy to get forgotten. The first delivery, the first thing you will deliver, the first thing that you will push through, is probably the most important, most expensive, and most likely to make or break your collaboration. If the team will see on the first thing, even if it's small thing, if they will see that like, wow, they delivered faster than we thought, or they delivered like better than we thought, or hey, they're actually really meeting the expectations what we wanted to, trust me, all the other submits, all the other collaboration is gonna be way easier because you just show them that you can do it. If the first thing will doubt it, if the first thing will be something that they will say like, yeah, this is not exactly what we expected. It's very hard to rebuild trust. It's very hard to rebuild. Like, there's the first feeling out of the relationship is very important. That's for you the first delivery. If that doesn't work, it's gonna be bad. So keep this in mind. So on the summary side, as I said, if everything from this, if you would remember one line, please keep the build and protect trust. Because for me, the trust is really, like all of the others, if you think about it, they're about the trust as well, just from different perspective. I'm sort of reiterating the same point, you could almost say. But it is true. For me, that's the most important thing. Respecting the team and respecting the game is super important. And it doesn't have to be game, even if you'll be actually doing something completely non-game related, which is not really the case of this presentation. But it's very important to keep that in mind. And starting strong and then keeping it up. We had a case with a company that at some point, and it's very common in outsourcing. And like, if there's, can you actually raise a hand if there's anyone from outsourcing studios in here? Okay, not that much for you, but in that case, for the developers in here, what I can say, many outsourcing studios will actually ship you at the beginning the people that are the best to do the test, and then they will take them away as soon as you sign the contract. The first thing I always do when we are doing this, and Martin, actually, our lead environment artist, is like, yeah, that happens. Because he saw it. I know, Rob, it's a tough one to touch. The truth is that they are obviously doing this. The first thing we do is that we will ask, okay, can we see the names of those people? And can we make sure that those people will actually stay there? Because obviously you occasionally shift people around, that's fine. But you don't want to get right after the juniors. We actually signed a contract because we believe you can deliver those amazing things. Not that you will show us that you have juniors who actually barely can model, but they are actually on the budget of the seniors you were promising us to do. Again, if that happens, communicate it, explain it, don't do it hiddenly, because trust me, the environment art sitting there will find that you actually suddenly changed it from a very senior person with 10 plus years of experience to someone who is just learning Maya or Max. So, could be almost everything, and I have actually a really good time. I have to say I'm faster than I expected. But the last thing I would like to say, and obviously I love how Martin and Rob on their presentation said the corporate part of it. Well, I will try to incorporate it, okay? So, number one, we have a booth over there, where you can play a game called Milky. Hopefully I said it correct, or that. That is very traditional Finnish thingy that you play on your cottage. And I think it sort of explains as well who we are. We have a beer like over there. Grab it with the Redhill logo on there. Bring it to the Milky, play some Milky, the thing that Rob is showing. Just go to have fun, because that's who we are. That's what we do. That's how we would like to build a team. We are right now about 70 people in Helsinki mostly. We are still looking for many more. I think, Katja, about 11 positions right now? Or 12. See, that's why you have HR straight in the room. I don't even remember that one. Apparently, it increased. We have many more people looking for, and we really would like you to come to help us to build awesome things. But obviously, everyone will ask, what is it? What are you building? Well, let me say it, or sorry, let my colleagues say it for me.
I cannot say.
The first time I played that particular game was with a group of friends.
It's very similar to other games. You have to open a program, and then you will launch the game.
Started playing with some random people.
The game that pew pew and boom boom.
I lose badly.
And we won.
But eventually I had a lot of fun.
Now it's AAA. Now we're talking.
It's to play first-person shooter.
Sense of accomplishment.
Deliver our absolute best efforts.
We really put the bar high up.
This is one of the one in a lifetime chance.
You will know more when you join us.
Don't wait. Apply like right now.
So the team said it better than I could, and they shared all the information I could share as well. The only thing I can say is freaking awesome. I really would never believe I could get my hands on something like this, and you should definitely come to sign up. Or if not that, just come to our booth, talk with us. We are all there playing Melky, and some of us are drinking beer. Thank you, for example, and Martin as well. And I would like as well to give a shout out to Alex for amazing video, because when I saw it first time, I didn't even know we have the video, but when I saw it, I felt in love. So we had to actually put it in all of our presentations. So no one is sleeping, which is good. Thank you for that. It gives me a lot of hope it wasn't completely horrible. So thank you, everyone. And if you have any questions, shoot.
Thanks a lot. Can you tell me if communication always helps? Because like people all are different, and sometimes you just conflict with something like very subjective, like you don't, I don't know, don't have the same characters, and this can be a problem. How does communication always help? And if not, what can you recommend to handle it somehow, handle these issues?
I would say it always helps in a way that at least it speeds up the thing. Like, obviously, communication can as well damage stuff, and you can communicate very badly. And I think the first thing to always keep in mind with communication, culture. How are the cultures? You know, and I had a situations where like I'm myself Czech, I'm not Finnish, and you know, first time when I had my one-on-one with one of my guys from Finland, we were sitting there. I was like, so, and here I can actually use name. He actually gave me permission for that. Hey, Tommy, so how are you doing? Yeah, it's good, good, awesome. So like, is everything going right? Yeah, sorry. How is the game? It goes well. It's like, okay, do you have any issues? Oh, fine. Okay, and do you want to talk about anything else? No, not really. Like, can I go now already? I was like, Tommy, come on, it should be at least an hour. I was like, okay, do you want to talk and I will listen? I was like, yeah, I can say something for. This is a real life examples. I'm not making it up. Martin knows Tommy, and I think he can say that I wasn't really making this up. This scenario. There are different communications, and you should always take it into account. If you talk with American, I had then one-on-one with Australian friend. Again, I can say name Greg London. I was always booking straight away 2 hours, and I was booking it before lunch because I knew that we will continue on the lunch because he didn't have 2 hours wasn't enough. We started the one-on-one already when we were going on the meeting room. Different cultures speak differently, and you should always take into account who is on the other side and how they will probably perceive the message. You should as well, keep your messaging. I had a colleague when I was working at Wargaming who, he sat down with me after a patch, amazing patch, and he was like, "It's not shit." I was like, "Wow, this is the best thing I've ever heard from you. Like, it's not that good, okay?" There are different ways of communication. So obviously, I wouldn't communicate maybe this way to Americans. Might not really work. But communicating the issues and saying, "Hey, we know there's a problem," is better than anything. If you will keep silent, they will feel either that you don't see it, which is bad, or you ignore it, which is even worse.
And maybe any tips for beginner teams who want to try co-development but doubt that? Maybe what would encourage them to try this?
Number one, co-development is awesome from both sides. It really teaches a lot, and it can teach you a lot as well. Like, there is no small. My first thing, there are no small games. Don't be afraid to take a co-development on something that you might feel like it's under our quality. There's nothing like that. We make games. We do it for people. We do something we love. Just embrace it. Show you can do stuff. Keep the team as long together as possible. Show you can do stuff. Show you can do full things, because this is very important. Even the small deliveries that you will do and you finished and you kept the team for the next one is very good, because it shows that you already know how to work together, and that's super important for whomever who is looking on the other side. So that will be the first. Second, go on events like this and talk with people. Don't be afraid. For 100 no's, you will get one yes. That's completely fine. We were yesterday talking actually here with some of the newcomers to the industry, and I was telling them exactly the same thing. Yeah, you will get 100 no's, but that's fine. We get no all the time as well, and we've been in the industry for long enough. But that's what we do. We talk, we communicate, we ask. Try to find someone in your team who is chatty, who can talk all the time. We call them business development people. And who likes parties. That's perfect. Then you basically got or you have Martin, that's fine. And send them there, let them talk, let them mingle, and talk with all different teams. You might think, oh my God, like those guys will never work with us. Well, then talk with them anyway. Yeah, sure, maybe you will not work with them right now, but in 5 years, they might be like, oh man, do you remember that party on Games Gathering? It was awesome. What are you doing right now, by the way? We need some people. This might happen. And all of those contacts, all of those connections are super important for any size of business.
Okay, thanks a lot. Maybe some other questions, of course.
Hello.
I'm scared already.
You should be. So right at the beginning, you was talking about the dating period sort of thing. I don't want to use too much of a sort of dating terminology here, but I want to use the word red flags because like we've all had dates and gone, oh yeah, no. In game development, you also have the same sort of thing. When you're working with anybody new, you're working with collaborations, there are a lot like little red flags that come up. You don't know the red flags until you see that they're red flags. That said, have you in your experience sort of got like a checklist of things to sort of look out for when it comes down to the red flags and like early warning signs? Have you got like a list of things like, if this happens, then we should probably slap someone?
You do, and I think you are building it over time. It's a very good question. You are really building this list over time. Number one, trust your instincts, trust your guts. It's the same thing like with interview. If I have an interview with someone and I leave the interview with like, there was something fishy in there. I don't know what, but like, just didn't feel right. You know what's the first thing that I will send to HR? No. Straight away. Or I ask at least, bring me other group of people, and I will tell them, I had a weird feeling. Can you dig around those things? Like I felt it here. And then they will actually go and they will actually start looking. And if they come back with like, yeah, actually we had the same feeling. We don't know either what the hell is that. Then it's straight away, probably not much, or there is something, maybe it's just not gonna work. Sometimes they came back with like, Milos, you are completely mad. Like there was nothing. Like, sorry, like you actually, you are insane. So the first thing, the gut instincts, and you will get them. You will get a feeling like there is something wrong. Number two, over promising in general is always bad. If I see a team that before was doing indie things, they are 5, and then suddenly tell me like, no worries, we can nail down everything. 250 people, we will deliver to you tomorrow. Like, and I actually had that case. They had 50 employees then, and they told me that in 3 months they can do around 200. I was like, okay, I cannot say, but this is actually a real case example. And like my first reaction was like, yeah, you are lying. Like I'm sorry, like there is no way. Like, can you explain me how? And then they started to explain more. We were undercover. Like, so you mean you can get juniors and from schools steal them from the school, so we will be working on that. Well, yeah, now I believe that you can actually get 150 random people on the street. Sure, you can. But we were talking about those experienced people, and I want them. So like those type of things, like over promising, over delivering, and no previous experience is always bad. It's always a red flag for me. And I would say the last one is culture fit, and in general, fit on the way of we like to work with you, or like we are very much like-minded. I do think that it's very important to have the same ways of doing, or at least similar ways of doing, feeling similarly, having the feeling that like we can collaborate and work together well, because it will make everything much easier. Like that's sort of the beginning of every single strong collaboration. For anyone who will be doing my part from before, so you'll be looking for outsourcing, I would put one extra one, which completely bitten me to the ass and cost me about almost a year of development and few $1 million. Don't ever not have plan B. Because you might get amazing partner who will tell you that everything is possible. They might have actually a really great lineup from before, that's all fine. They even might have all the resources, but something might go wrong. I will never want to be again in a situation when me and my wife are in Disneyland, because we love Disney, we love Disneyland, we are crazy. I have funny shoes as well and stuff, or sorry, socks. And on 25th, they were like, hey, can we have a quick call? Like, yeah. You remember when we were actually saying that we will give you about 100 developers from January? I was like, yeah. It's a small problem. We will be able to give you 15. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, but no worries. We will give you more afterwards. It's like, when? Around summertime, we should have another 30. Like, it's a 45 versus 100. And by the way, I need them from freaking January. It really happened. And, I almost lost friendship with a good friend of mine because he was working on that side of the company. And I was calling him straight away on 25th as well. I was like, are you fucking mad? What the hell is happening right now? You cannot do this. How? And I was like, yeah. Let me explain. We have this issue. Sorry, I didn't know about it. It's like, okay. I basically sunk half a year of the development completely there because just before I went on a holiday, I told our outsourcing team, those guys are awesome. They will be great. You can stop all the conversations with the other outsourcing partners. Guess what? Came in January. I was like, you remember what I told you on the 20th of December? You know what you were saying that you have 2 other good partners. Are they still free? Well, no. It's like, yeah. So about that, can you start looking again? Because we have no one right now. And if you promise CEO of a big multi-million company that you are going to deliver something, and then you have to come to him and tell him, love you every single bit, but I completely screw it up with the outsourcing partner. You don't want to be there. So always have plan B, please. Or C, Z, X, yeah. I usually now, over the years, build at least like 2 other, if everything goes to hell. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, yeah.
I guess that's it. But anyway, thanks a lot for a cool presentation. Really, thanks. Yeah, and if you have any extra questions, you can connect via Pine or connect via other social networks.
Just go on the booth. That's one option. We are still there anyway. And the second option, LinkedIn, Facebook, whenever info@redhillgames.com. You can always reach out. We are always open.
Yeah, okay, thanks again.
Thank you very much.